Hello and welcome folks to another pre-modern video, and today we're going to be playing in the Season 5 Championships of the Magic Online Society. As the reigning champion, I'm going to be fighting to keep my title, and of course the weapon of choice is no surprise to anybody that's been following my channel. Blue-White Dreadnought. This deck has been very kind for me, and we're going to be playing a slightly different version, actually fairly different version, from the one that I won the Season 4 Championships with. And we're going to be playing what I've been playing lately, which is without the Enlightened Tutors. I personally think that Enlightened Tutor is a little bit of an overrated card in Pre-Modern. I feel like people just randomly jam it into decks when in reality not all decks are able to accommodate it in a similar way. Like decks like Parfait, for example, they're looking for a very specific engine, and once the engine gets rolling, you just kind of don't care about the card's advantage anymore, right? The same is true for certain Oath decks, where if you're able to get that Oath engine going, you're like, it doesn't matter that you're down a card. In a deck like this, it always matters that you're down a card. So because of that, we're not going to have access to the toolbox that we had in the previous versions of the deck, you know, with main deck Seal of Cleansing and main deck Seal of Removal and stuff like that. But we're going to have access to much more reliable mana and much more reliable game plan thanks to the counters. We're playing the full playset of Ops, full playset of Sleight of Hand, and a Singleton Ponder. I prefer Sleight of Hand because it gives you the card immediately, while Portent has a delayed draw. So Portent is, in my opinion, the worst one of all of these cantrips. And I personally believe that Impulse is just bad in StifleNought decks. I think that in a deck with such a low land count, Impulse being 2 mana is such a bad deal. Like the fact that the difference between 1 and 2 mana in this deck specifically is so important. So even before playing the first Impulse, I would just play like the full playset of Portent, even though I don't think Portent is particularly great, right? But yeah, Meddling Mage, absolutely fantastic in this deck. Obviously, Dreadnought as a way to end the game very quickly. And the engine, as we were talking about engines earlier, the engine here is Gush plus Foil, Daze, and like all of these free counter spells and free card advantage spells in order to protect our Dreadnought and ride it to victory. Obviously, Meddling Mage naming cards like Swords of Plowshares, Disenchant, cards that can answer the Dreadnought actually does a lot of work. And obviously, absolutely fantastic and game ending by itself in matchups like the Mirror or other combo decks. In the sideboard, I actually made some changes. You're going to see that I'm playing 1 Seal of Cleansing and 2 Disenchants. The reason for this is I expect a lot of decks playing potentially even stuff like the Mirror, where Meddling Mage naming Seal of Cleansing can potentially be a big deal, so I'm playing Disenchant instead. The thing that I'm doing though is I'm also playing a Singleton New Road. In the past I was playing like extra copies of Counterspell in the sideboard, but I'm trying to go like for a little bit of a leaner route, and I'm going for more Haymakers. And the reason I'm playing New Road is because this is a tournament for qualifications, and I'm basically pretty sure that people are more likely to be playing decks that are quote-unquote better, like the tier 1 or tier 0 decks. And amongst those is Parfait, which is a matchup that can be pretty tricky. It can be a pretty tricky matchup. I've had good experiences versus it in the past, but having access to just an end gamer like New Road is kind of a big deal. New Road also works very well versus decks like, for example, stuff like Fev, even though that's not a deck that people can really play on MTGO because it's bugged, but versus like Devourer decks and stuff like that, New Road can be a really big deal. But the main reason is Parfait, to be honest. And besides that, this is a list that I've been playing for a while with the changes that I used in my latest League video, so if you would like to check that one out, you can do so in my channel. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to be playing in the first round, so let's see how things go, and let's see if we can defend the title of Magic Online Society Champion. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and if you would like to support my content, you can do so in a couple of different ways. You can do so through Patreon, you can do so by using the links in the description of the video down below, which will give you a way to support the stream for free at no extra cost to you. Just whenever you're buying any cards from TCG Player or you're using Mana Traders as services, you can you're supporting the stream for free just by using those links. And then if you would like to support the stream directly, you can do so with donations. With any donation of $30 or more, I will play any deck list of your choice in a video. And finally, you can also book coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your gaming to the next level. Let's go win some matches, baby. Let's do this. All right, so we are in round number 1. And this hand looks fine to me. I'm going to keep it. Obviously, I wish one of these were an island, but we have a good mana. We have some nice little cantrips going on, so excited about this opener. And I'll take the island before the days for obvious reasons. Now we pass the turn back, and let's see what we're up against. Honestly, the best thing that could have happened there is my opponent wastelands my wastes. That would have been awesome. Okay, so opponent, we may be playing the mirror actually. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna play a mage just yet. I think I am gonna play a sleight of hand though, because I'm kind of interested in finding another island so we can start gushing. I'll take an opt too, stifle, sorry, too. We have opt to continue cantripping. Opponent and taps blue, white. Okay, so let's opt on end step. See what's up. Meddling mage. Okay, let's keep this. So we're going to untap. That's a Dreadnought, which is nice. So let's go blue white meddling mage. We're gonna name Swords to Plowshares. Mana leak. Sure, let's actually cash in these days. And we're just gonna name Swords to Plowshares here. And I'm assuming that I'm playing against the control deck. I could be playing the mirror, and if this is the mirror, that's going to be a problem. But I'm going to assume that it's more likely... Yeah, okay, second planes means that we're not playing the mirror. So we are good to go. So play a land, immediately draw the dead card. Feels weird, man. I'm going to play second meddling mage, and I think I'm just going to name Wrath of God. Opponent leaks the meddling mage, that's fine. Alright, pass the turn back. So we'd love to find another island, Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl is very interesting. So, okay, another island's great. Go to combat, swing for 2. And I think we just pass the turn back. FOF is bad for us, fine. Ooh, AK is brutal. So let's give my opponent AK and a Darker Wastes. Ugh, this is such a bad FOF for us. Actually, I'm just going to give my opponent 3 lands versus the 2 AKs. I think this is the better split. So that's going to require, yeah, that's going to require mana to actually do the thing. But Mishra's Factory is kind of a beating for us here. Okay, so they do play the Factory, which stops my mages. Now we untap. That's a Daze. I think I'm going to gush here. And I think that I'm going to go for a Dreadnought, depending on what I find. Interesting, another gush is great. So let's slide a hand looking for some counter magic. We're gonna... Ugh, those were not some good pickups. Do I just want to attack here? So if I attack, I trade, which I'm not interested in doing. So I'm just gonna pass the turn back. It would be great if my opponent were to, like, Dust Bowl me here. That would be awesome. What I don't want to see is another accumulated knowledge. Yeah, this is great. I love that. Definitely love that. Playing a Darker Wastes. That's fine. Now we untap another Dreadnought. Very interesting scenario we find ourselves in. I think we're just passing it back. My opponent can Dust Bowl me again, but I don't think I care too much about that. Like, in fact, it's kind of good for me. I can also just stifle this. The thing is, I don't think I care too much. Like, I think that I'm kind of good in terms of lands. The only reason to stifle there would be so it is easier for me to... Like, I'm forcing my opponent to, like, throw more stuff in the trash, like, to throw more lands in the garbage. So, another Daze. Yeah, I'm gonna pass the turn back here. And I think that next turn we're gonna go for it. Opponent just untaps. Coastal Tower. So my opponent at this point probably has a Wrath. How do we want to do this? This hand did not work out well. Like, drawing Swords to Plowshares versus the control deck is not great. Do I go for Dreadnought Stifle? Missing land drops, also not great. I think I'm gonna go for it. The reason mostly being that maybe my opponent counters this. Okay, this is perfect. This is absolute best case scenario. Awesome. I'm not gonna pay. And I think I'm just gonna do this again. But I guess that I'm gonna gush first. Okay, that's great. So now we go Dreadnought. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Vision Charm, face out, and say cancel. And we protect now from Wrath, which is very nice. No attacks, pass the turn back. We have access to Daze, which is nice. Draw 3 is very good for my opponent here, for obvious reasons. Nice little ancestral action. Yeah, that was a really good FOF from my opponent last turn. Seal of Cleansing. I can stifle that. So that's nice. Okay, so we untap, opt for island. I'm gonna bottom that. Another Vision Charm is also pretty nice. Opponent correctly upkeeps here. And I can go for Stifle on the Charm. They probably have some form of counter magic, but there isn't too much that I can do about it. So it kind of is what it is. They drew so many cards, and I have so many dead cards in hand that it's kind of understandable. Okay, so we're gonna say no, and not down. So now I play an island, and I'm gonna go for another Dreadnought, which I'm gonna attempt to Vision Charm. We have double Daze backup. I mean, it's not the issue is that it's not getting better for me, right? The more time goes by, the worse that it gets. So we're just gonna have to double Daze here, which is not where you want to be, but this is what we have to do. And now we're gonna Vision Charm Dreadnought, which plays around Wrath. We also get in an attack for 2, which is very, very important, because this now means that my opponent's gonna be facing lethal if all they have is like a block with the Factory. But if they have another Seal of Cleansing, or if they have Disenchant, then we're dead. Also, they could have a Wrath into Swords to Plowshares. Wrath killing the mage, and then plowing the mage. So there's still some stuff that I lose to here, which is exactly what my opponent has, which is pretty brutal. Yep. And now, let's see if they have the plow as well. I imagine they do. Seems unlikely for them to not have it. Yep. Okay, so we gain a bunch of life, and we draw a blank. Okay, so I think I'm gonna concede to this. My opponent has much more mana than I do. They have much more cards than I do, because all my cards are dead. So I think it's fair to pack it in here. Yeah, okay. Alright, I've seen enough. I'm gonna go for the scoop. Hehehe. Okay, so let's cut these stupid Swords to Plowshares. Let's bring in my boy, Winter Orb. And I think I want Seal of Cleansing. And I probably want Annul. These are the cards that I care about. Love Daze on the play, not so much on the draw. So, mages are incredible. So what do I want to cut? I think I'm going to cut the Portent and maybe 1 Daze. Yeah, this looks good. Game number 2, get to be on the play, which is nice. And we have a pretty nice draw. Let's keep this. So, slide on hand on 1. I can take a Daze here or another island. Both of these are very nice, actually. I think I'm going to take another island, considering that I already have the Gush in hand. And this allows me to just go get a Plains with the Flooded Strand, which solves all of my mana issues. A Darker Waste. Well, immediately punished. Yeah, let's play my land. And I guess I'm probably still gonna go for White Source here. So now we untap. That's a Dreadnought, which is nice. I think I pass the turn back and wait to see if my opponent does anything. AK on end step, that's fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna go. I guess I'm just gonna get a blue source here in the end. Vision Charm. Okay, so let's go Seal of Cleansing. If my opponent wants to counter this, they do. Okay, so I don't have enough protection for the Dreadnought, so I'm just gonna pass the turn back, and we're gonna see what my opponent does. 2 mana, Powder Keg. I'm gonna annul that just to use my mana. Maybe my opponent will attempt to protect that. I doubt it, but maybe. You're just gonna get a stifle. Oh, I should have stifled there. Ooh, that was a big mistake. I misclicked. Oh, that's really rough. That was a big misclick right there. brutal, because now they're going to land standstill. Yeah, that was a really bad misclick. That was a really, really bad misclick. Man, I would have been so far ahead too. Wow. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to lose to that misclick. Oh, that's so frustrating. That's really, really frustrating. Okay. Get your cars. Like, I'm just going to have to pop that. Another Vision Charm is nice. So let's go Dreadnought. And let's actually stifle the trigger, because we can use Vision Charm to protect. We're gonna Gush. And we're gonna play another land and pass the turn. So now we have 2 layers of protection for this Dreadnought. And we can protect from everything. We can protect from Swords to Plowshares, we can protect from Wrath. Ideally, my opponent goes for a Wrath here. That would be the best case scenario for us. But that was a huge misclick. That was a massive, massive misclick. Yeah, I could definitely see myself getting very punished for that. Seal of Cleansing. Okay. Opponent very correctly waits until my upkeep to do this. Tight play. Gonna stifle that. Opponent plows in response. Gonna face out the Dreadnought. And that effectively buys my opponent 1 entire turn, which is obviously pretty bad for me. Melee Mage is nice. So let's play Mage, and I'm gonna name Swords to Plowshares. Not super likely to resolve, but okay. Yeah, we're definitely naming Swords to Plowshares here. Swords to Plowshares. Alright, pass it back. So now my opponent's gonna need to Wrath. It's the only answer to the Mage they can really have. Another Seal of Cleanse. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Another Standstill? Ugh, that's devastating. That is so devastating. Man, that is so... I just got so punished by the misclick. I feel like we could be in such better shape right now if I hadn't messed that up like that. This is so brutal. Yeah, I deserve to lose this one. Another Vision Charm. Alright, we keep on keeping on. We can't attack with the Mage, unfortunately, but I don't know. My opponent's got 8 cards in hand to our 1. It doesn't look well for the good guys here. Here comes the Wrath, which is, I guess, not much I can do about it. So we're gonna need to draw Gush right now. In fact, we may need to just chain Gushes straight up. Just keep phasing out the same Dreadnought. And Days. Days right on time. You love to see it. Ugh. Yeah, this is not looking good. This is not looking good, folks. Not looking good for the good guys. Winter Orb is nice though. Swing. Dust Bowl my land, that's fine. 12 yeah. Winter Orb. Please FOF in response. Oh, Mana Leak. Maybe I should have main phased the Winter Orb. I don't know. I mean, it would have played around Mana Leak. Would have played into Counterspell. Can I dodge one more turn? Can I dodge? Wow, we got there? Wow, that's so lucky. That is so lucky. I can't believe we're going to go to game 3. That was very lucky. I really have nothing else to say besides, yep, that was extremely lucky. So we're going to cut another Days and bring in Ponder. I guess we saw Powder Keg. We saw Powder Keg. So maybe Disenchant is nice. Like, Disenchant is good against Powder Keg, is good against... I think I'd rather have Days than Disenchant, though. I definitely rather have Seal of Cleansing than Days. At least, like, the first Seal of Cleansing over the third Days. But I think that this is fine. I can't believe that little Dreadnought just went all the way. Definitely keeping this hand. Yeah, this hand's great. Definitely keeping this hand. And I guess I'm going to go turn 1 Flooded Strand. Opponent correctly playing around Stifle. Very smart. So Annul, pretty sweet at countering, what's his name, right? Blue-white. Yeah, that seems good enough to annul. Annul that. Pass the turn. Foil. Do I just go for Dreadnought now? If I go for Dreadnought, I can go turn 2 Dreadnought with foil backup because of Gush. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I mean, I would be feeling a lot safer if I had access to, if instead of Stifle, these were the other, if that were Vision Charm instead. But I think that this is actually like a good spot to do this. Swords to Plowshares, Gush in response, and I'm gonna attempt to foil. Actually, no, I'm gonna attempt to foil, yeah. So foil there, discarding Island, and I guess I'm gonna discard the other island as well. Now we're gonna swing for 12. We can Protect or Dreadnought. That's an attack for 12. And now what? Vision Charm. Face out my artifact. Please resolve. Long pause. Long pause. Please resolve. Pretty please. Please, please, please resolve. Pretty please. Okay. So that resolves. And they play Standstill, so we win! Yes! Yes! Woo! Well, I'm very happy about how I played that game. I'm very happy about how I navigated that specific game. I think that I took my shot when I had to take it. Obviously, game number 2, we got very, very lucky. I think if I had Stifle that fetch trigger, we would have been in really good shape. But obviously, things are, you know, I just worked. It just worked out. Like, I got lucky game 2. I'm very, very happy with how I played game 3. We go on to the next round. All right, time for round number 2 versus the man, the legend, Cyberpunker, my nemesis. And this is an O-lander, so we're going to ship it. This is a one-lander, so I'm going to keep it. And I guess I'm going to bottom one of these foils. I'm going to keep the one with the slightly better art. Slightly better only. Maybe I should have bottomed the redundant Dreadnought. I don't know. Wow. Careful Study. Draw 4. 1 mana, draw 4. Well, good thing I bottomed the foil, I guess. Yeah, we're definitely going to keep the second sleight of hand here instead of the plow. We don't have an island for... We don't have an island for these foils, so that's a little bit of a problem. But we do have another cantrip. Damn, going off with those Careful Studies. That's so much card advantage. Kind of sick, actually. Alright, so they passed the turn back. That's in the Darker Wastes. I think I'm gonna lead on sleight of hand. Maybe they'll base this. Ooh, interesting. To keep the island or to keep the Gush? I think I'm gonna be greedy and I'm gonna keep the Gush. I think this game is gonna go long. So it's weird because, like, if I think the game is gonna go long, I kind of want to keep the island because I want to be hitting my land drop so I can play this knot through through a counter spell. But at the same time, Gush is what's gonna turn on both of my foils. So I just need to find an island here. 3 mana. Is this gonna be a Frantic Search? Oh, okay. So he's back in Frantic Search. Like, his latest thing was adding Gush and foil to Madness. So this makes me think that he probably doesn't have that. But this Frantic Search here is obviously absurd, right? Like, free mana, free, like, no mana cost at all, and you get access to some pretty good value. If I was gonna say, like, if he discards Arrogant Worm, I kind of want to stifle the Madness trigger. Funnily enough, is this gonna be a survival? That's a survival, all right. So if I do manage to find an island here, I'm gonna go for it. I think island. Oh, it's not an island. All right, pass it back. So he's gonna tap with survival, double squee, but only a single green mana. Never mind, 2 green mana. And is this gonna be a mongrel? Okay. So he's gonna be able to go a little bit wide here. But if I find an island here, I'm gonna feel like I'm in very good shape. So island, easy money. So I think I just go for it here. He probably is gonna have Drake, but I have double foil here. He does have Gush. Okay. So he has Frantic Search, Careful Study, Gush, and foil. He has all of that stuff. Well, the good thing is now we don't have to play around days, so that's very nice. And hopefully he counters this. Oh, this is so good for me. Oof, look at that value, this Guardian Rootwalla. Just look at that value. All right, so I'm gonna play into Daze here. He can hardcast the Daze, but I think it's worth going for it here. And stifle the trigger. Yeah, he's gonna hardcast the days. But we can just foil back, which is so Gush, both islands back, and we still have another foil back up here, and he can't. Oof, that sucks. Okay, that's fine. So foil, target days, discard island, discard. Do we want to discard the days? I think I'm just gonna discard the Dreadnought instead. So we know 2 of his cards are islands. 2 of his cards are squee, my bad. And 1 of those is an island. We can still foil here, and I guess that puts us actually in a bad spot because he can survival for Drake, and that's gonna be a problem. I don't know what he's in the tank about here. Like, if he does have the foil, he should just use it here. I don't think it's even remotely close. Alright, let's see if this Dreadnought's gonna be enough. If he's main decking Mandrills, we may be in rough shape. Let's see if he's main decking Drake. Actually, it's better for him to lead on Waterfront Bouncer, now that I think about it. Yeah, he's main decking the Drake. If he has days, we lose. So, counter, pitching days, and island. So if he has days here, we are gonna lose. Looks like he doesn't. So he has Squee, and 3 unknowns. But now, unless he has another Drake, we should be in fine shape. Now, very, very sad that I discard the days, obviously, but you know, at the point we didn't know. So yeah, it's gonna be a matter of, is he main decking another Drake? Is he main decking another Drake? Or like, can he send enough stuff in front of this Dreadnought that he can chump enough to survive? So now he's taking 8 down to 6, which is probably a good block actually. But Waterfront Bouncer is not going to have haste, so I think that if he had access to Bouncer, he should have played Bouncer on that turn, so that next turn he can both, like, he forces the foil, and then on the following turn he actually Drakes. So I think that would have been the better play, yeah. Otherwise we just got him. So I think there was like a little bit of a misstep there from Cyberpunker. Okay, so obviously the 2 Source of Pleasures are coming in. The counter spells are gonna come out, and I think I want some disenchants. Oh, Curse Totem. Yeah, actually Curse Totem is great in this matchup. I forgot about that. Like, Curse Totem stops Waterfront Bouncer, it stops Wild Mongrel, it stops Root Wild. Like, it is actually great. So yeah, definitely interested in Curse Totem. What else? Do I just play through the survival? Seems kind of sketchy. I think I'm gonna cut a days. Yeah, we're just gonna try to play through a survival. Medley Mage is a banger though in this matchup. Ugh, another no-lander. Brutal. Mulligan. This one's good. This one's good. We like this one. What are we doing here? I'm definitely keeping. I think I'm gonna bottom Medley Mage. I think it's the worst of my cards. And also, to be fair, the hardest one to cast as well. So here we're gonna have access to Basic Island, which is nice. Obviously, just as I say Medley Mage is bad, I immediately find the land that would cast it, but it's fine. Portent, turn 1 is great. Am I keeping this? I don't think I keep this. I don't think it's good enough. Yeah, I don't think this is good enough. Also, I guess he played a green card, so yeah, he may have an island. But yeah, we're definitely shuffling here. Any order on shuffle. Send it back, and hoping to draw what? Not bad. That's not a bad one. Most definitely not a bad one. Okay. Am I playing out Curse Totem here? I think I'm actually gonna play out Sleight of Hand. Well, never mind. I mean, now I can just play the totem and, you know, have days back up and all that good stuff. Yep. So days, your days. And now, no more activated abilities for you. And I think next turn I'm actually going to play Wastes, and I'm going to hope to stifle my opponent's Wasteland. But this is now a 1-1. Now Waterfront Bouncer is not a card anymore, which is very nice. Definitely very excited about blanking my opponent's best card in the matchup. Very excited about that. Sleight of hand, looking for... Vision Charm is actually interesting here. Yeah, let's do Vision Charm. And I think I'm gonna play Waste. No, I'm gonna play Island. So Redundant Foil, I don't think it's that good here, and Vision Charm is effectively the same. Like it allows me to beat Naturalize, so that's nice. The only real upside of playing a Darker Waste is that my opponent may potentially attempt to Wasteland me. Waterfront Bouncer, that's a 2-mana 1/1. You'd love to see it. Foil, okay. So if he attempts to waste here, yeah, I think I stifle it. Like I do, like my white cards are actually very good here. Like Meddling Mage comes down and completely dominates this board, right? So I think having access to white mana is a good thing for me. And obviously, you know, Swords to Blushers is just good. Another hard cast rule. I mean, if I don't find some cantrips or I don't find a shrimp on time, like we may actually be in trouble. Opt, Gush. No, that's not a Gush. That's a Meddling Mage though. Okay, I'm gonna play around Ace. Boom. That's a Meddling Mage. This can get foiled, though. This can get foiled, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But like, I don't think my opponent has another island. They would have. I feel like they would have played it already. Yeah. So what am I naming here? I think I'm naming Naturalize, because if my opponent had Survival, they would have played it a while ago. So by naming Naturalize, I am really putting a wrench in my opponent's plans. Sure, like he could have Unsummon or something like that, but c'est la vie, right? He has Survival now. Mongrel. Okay, Mongrel's fine. It's a 2/2. Can we find Dreadnought? That's pretty good. It's quite strong. Look at this Meddling Mage just towering over my opponent's entire board. Just dominating the board right now. You love to see it. So now if he has Gush, that could be a problem. But yeah, we're definitely plowing this Mongrel. So my best draw is obviously Gush. Like, hands down. Like, Gush would kind of win the game on the spot, actually. Gush? Another island. Okay, at least this means I can foil now. I can hardcast and also foil, so that's nice. So if my opponent attempts to Gush, I'm just going to probably just hardcast a foil on it. Yep, that's what's coming. Let's cast hardcast a Gush. And my opponent can't Daze, that's why I'm taking the chance. Oh, never mind, he can Daze. Okay, we got there. So I think I'm just gonna let the Gush resolve, because I can still, Mongrel, I can still do some good stuff here if I find a Dreadnought, not a Dreadnought. So land I'm gonna play out though, because now I can play around Daze on this hardcast Gush, on this hardcast foil. This Mongrel is a 6-turn clock though, so we don't have infinite time. So I'm gonna need to draw something before my opponent gets there. The main card I'm afraid of is specifically Gilded Drake. Oh, he's holding a land. He could have played a land and he didn't. So that suggests to me that there's some foiling over there going on. So I'm gonna pass the turn back, and I'm gonna, I guess, attempt to hardcast it. Okay, so he drew another land. I'm gonna take 2 here, and I'm going to opt on my opponent's end step. Another hardcast Walla. So opt on end step. We don't really have that much time. Bottom that Frolic Strand, sleight of hand. Okay. So let's sleight of hand first. See what's up. That's a Dreadnought. And unfortunately I can't cast foil here. I can cast Gilded Drake. Does Gilded Drake do anything? What are the cards I'm afraid of? I guess it's really just Gilded Drake. Actually Survival, I guess, is what I'm gonna name. I could also just name Wild Mongrel. Definitely not naming Arrogant Worm. That takes a foil? Jeez. Okay, so that being the case, I'm gonna play around Daze, and I'm just gonna Dreadnought and Vision Charm. And if he's playing Counterspell, he's got me, but... So now we just pass the turn, and we're gonna, I guess, block the Mongrel? Dude, this card in Squid to foil is just so sexy. Let's see if he attacks with everything. Yeah, okay. So with this attack, I can block the bouncer. We go to 3. And then next turn I die. So I guess I have to... Yeah, I think I'm still gonna block the bouncer. We lose to my opponent having another creature, I guess. Now we're down to 3. I guess we get Plow. Because we're swinging for 14. My opponent's at 16. We got Plow as a live draw. I mean, we can just hold Dreadnought back to block. That's a good draw. That is most certainly a good draw. Take a little Gush. Here's an island. And here is a mage of the meddling variety. And I guess this meddling mage is gonna name... So survival doesn't matter, because my opponent just doesn't have the mana to do anything with it. So survival is irrelevant. Gilded Drake is decent. Wild Mongrel, I guess, is their best card. Man, this is really close. I could also name Naturalize again. I think I named Naturalize again. And now we'll just do this, and I'm just going to swing for 12. Opponent down to 4. And now we're gonna block one of these mongrels. We can foil, and I'm gonna foil Pitchin to play around Daze. The game's not gonna go another turn, so this is the last turn right here. So what a close game. What a crazy close game. Shout out to Curse Totem, please. Can we just give like a round of applause to Curse Totem? Just soloing this entire game. Just blanking my opponent's attacks. Imagine if this Root Wallace had been able to pump. Imagine if this Mongrel were able to pump. Imagine if this Bouncer were a card besides a 2-mana 1/1, right? So Curse Totem, just a round of applause. And Meddling Mage on Naturalize. Just so nice. Big fan. Big fan of what's going on here. And I guess my opponent can have like exactly Gilded Drake plus foil? Is that it? Does Gilded Drake plus foil beat me? Gush? Gush is probably my opponent's best draw. I think it's possible Gilded Drake plus Gush beats me. Okay, that's the Drake. So this Drake resolves. Steals Dreadnought. I swing for 3, opponent goes down to 1. Then I lose to the Dreadnought. Yeah, he could just trade and chump. So I think we actually have to actually do this here. And so yeah, if he has foil here, we just lose. Looks like he doesn't. Did we get there? Casual turn 12, 3 lands in play. He'll love to see it. Both mages naming Naturalize. Gonna take my blocks here. We go to 1, and drum roll, we win the match. All right, baby. GG's, Stanley. Beat my nemesis. Let's go. All right, folks, it is the moment of truth. Can we defend the title? I'm gonna keep this hand. We got turn 1 cantrip. We can slide a hand, which is nice, and find our second land. I think I'm gonna go, actually, how important is Mage as opposed to Gush? I guess this is very matchup dependent. This gets got, I guess I'm just gonna go for second island. The Adarkar Waste gets got by Wasteland, which can be my opponent's deck. Like, there are a pretty significant amount of things that can go poorly if I choose to go for the Adarkar Wastes line. We may very well get punished though if this is land tax. Yep. Okay, so how are we gonna approach this? That's actually nice. So I think I'm just gonna let my opponent get their land tax going, but I'm gonna focus my counter magic versus the rack aspect of things. Opponent gets 3 lands. They cast Suranor. I think I'm gonna counterspell the Suranor. That's gonna really limit my opponent's development. And if they play rack, I can just Daze it. So I think this is fine. Undiscovered Paradise gets me though, for sure. But yeah, we can still just Daze this rack over here, and we can be kind of just fine. Draw another island, which is fine. We have counterspell for another rack. We have Gush. Another land tax. But that's fine. I think my opponent didn't even search. And this is kind of what I was trying to say, right? Which is, without the other half of the engine, land tax doesn't really do anything. My opponent can have all the lands they want, but they're not going to have that much stuff to get, so they only got like 1 plains. Because they're just going to discard here. Basic Swamp has been played. Going to clean up, discarding plains, Vision Charm. So if I gush, I get 2 lands back to hand, 2 blue mana floating. If I find a knot, I probably don't go for it. So we would gush, play land. That would be up to 8 cards. So I think this is fine. And now the tax is not even triggering anymore. So we're just holding up Counterspell here. Just chilling. Just chilling. Just doing our thing. Another Meddling Mage is not fantastic. Is this the turn where I gush? Maybe. Yeah, this. I think that I'm gonna gush now. There's a knot, and now we have foil. So now I'm a lot more excited about doing this. We're gonna Stifle. Because we can use Charm to protect from Swords to Plowshares. Right now we have 2 layers of protection, as I call them. We untap. Play their land. I imagine they're gonna do this in upkeep. And they're playing around Vision Charm specifically by doing this. Vendetta. Interesting. So this means they're gonna take 12. Do I care about them taking 12? I think this is fine. This means now a white source allows me to win with Meddling Mage. We don't find a white source, but that's fine. We have foil, we have Counterspell, and we can play a longer game. And now we can drop Meddling Mage and we can just name Swords to Plowshares. This is Geddon, which we're just gonna counter here. Untap. White source. Foil. Alright. Gush would be a great draw. Yeah, that's getting countered. Scroll Rack out. We untap. White source. Easy white source. And now we can just start playing some Meddling Mages here. This one, should we name Oath of Druid? I think I'm gonna name Oath of Druid. Would love to find a gush. I think if we find a gush, we're probably just gonna win the game. Engineered Plague. Main deck Plague is interesting, so I guess I'm gonna name Human. That's funny. Well, it's now gonna take longer to kill them. Vision Charm. Swing. Pass the turn holding up foil. The only card I'm really afraid of right here is another Armageddon, really. Or another Scroll Rack, I guess. Though I guess Rack isn't even triggering. Gaia's Blessing is fine. We're gonna swing with Mage once again. Fantastic draw. Swing for 1. Blue, blue. Gush. Another knot. So I guess we can just do everything. We just play Mage on Swords to Plowshares. Exactly. But now this doesn't matter, right? Because this just names Swords to Plowshares, and even if my opponent has the Oath, we just win with Knot. Face out my Knot. And now we have second Vision Charm. Second Vision Charm plus foil available to us. Scroll Rack. That's fine. We're not going to have another turn, so if they want to, tap their mana, Vendetta obviously doesn't do anything, because it's going to kill them. Duress also doesn't do anything. Swords to Plowshares doesn't do anything. Disenchant, we counter. So I think we have all of our bases covered at this point, and I don't think my opponent's going to get another. 3 mana, Aura of Silence. Pew! Nice. Alright, now. No Rod. We like. Ano. We like. Seal of Cleansing / Disenchants. We like. Swords to Plowshares we do not like. And this is a little bit of a numbo right here. But I think it may be worth it anyways. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. So this stops Score Rack, this stops Mox Diamond. So like No Rod is just an absolute banger in this matchup. And we have to cut 3 cards. On the draw, I can cut maybe 2 Daces and maybe 1 Portent. I think the game is gonna go long, so I don't think... actually, I do like Portent, never mind. Let's cut a Sleight of Hand. Actually, in my newer lists, I have moved over to 4 portent, 1 sleight of hand. So yeah, I actually like sleight of hand better than portent. I'm a portent believer now. 61 cards for opponent. This matchup is always so exciting to me. I find it very, very interesting. I'm gonna definitely keep this hand. Got the combo, we got some gush. Obviously, I'm not gonna go for the combo on turn 2, even though I could if I wanted to, but I'm not a maniac. So let's see what my opponent has cooking over there. The Vendettas are very interesting. I assume that the Vendettas are specifically because of this matchup. Just 1-mana answers to Dreadnought. Ooh, they move to 4. Mulligan to 4 is brutal. Another gush. I'm not gonna complain about another gush. Enlightened Tutor. That's fine. I imagine they're gonna get land tax. Let's see if they play land tax through days. I'm gonna opt in response to land tax because I can potentially find a foil, and if I do, I'm definitely going for it. Okay, so land tax resolves. And now what we can do, right on time. So my opponents can draw a bunch of cards here. We can go for Knot into Vision Charm and then Gush to prevent them from taxing. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let them draw a bunch of cards. What happens if I do that though? So their last card needs to be specifically Swords to Plowshares. And what if that happens? We just play on? Yeah, okay. Orim's Chant is kind of sick. Let's Gush in response. Draw another Dreadnought. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. We're going to sacrifice our Dreadnought. Orim's Chant is a cool answer to Dreadnought, by the way. I'm gonna discard a land and annul. Pass the turn back after replaying their land. And that's what we were looking for. So now next turn we're gonna be able to do the thing. And I think that should be good enough for us to win. So we're gonna make the exact same play. Dreadnought, face out, cancel. I guess I'm not gonna do that. Like my opponent's gonna be down a land if they do this. So they're gonna be down a land. They're gonna get 2 land tax. So they're gonna draw 3, but then I can just counter wherever they want. So it's fine if they want to draw 3 here, because they're gonna be 3 lands. So it also means they're time walking themselves, right? And this way I just get to hold up Vision Charm on my upkeep, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I think we play out another. Swing for 12, and I think we Gush. Sleight of hand, Stifle, and now we're fine. Just gonna discard this Flooded Strand. And now we have Daze, Foil, Vision Charm. And that should be most likely good enough to lock this one up. Untap. And now what? A Darker Wastes. Let's play a second island and go to combat. 12-ya. Pyroblast. Pyroblast resolves. Champion! Champions again! The back-to-back championship has been defended. And we got there once again. This deck is just... I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, this deck is just a masterpiece. I am in love with it. It's incredible. It is... I think it's the best deck in the format. And I don't think it's... that's a lie. It is actually quite close. But I still think this deck is absolutely fantastic. It has so many great ways and angles of attack. Meddling Mage, like, one thing that's very small and easy to see, to miss about Meddling Mage is the flexibility that it gives you in terms of pivoting. Like, just like we said, we saw in that previous match, where my opponent, I could just say, okay, sure, whatever. Like, Vendetta my Dreadnought, take 12, and then I can just pivot entirely and just drop a Meddling Mage on Oath. Now you can't actually combo me out, and you're gonna start taking 2, or I guess 1 with Engineered Plague, funnily enough. But like, now you have to deal with this, or otherwise it's just gonna kill you. And then when I played the second mage, my opponent was forced into like into this last resort sort of move where they're plowing the mage, and then I drop another Dreadnought, right? So it's like one of those things where it's just like, okay, you need to deal with this dreadnought. Now you don't anymore. Now you just have to deal with these random mages that are beating you down. And oh, wait a second, now you have a dreadnought again in play. So the flexibility and the amount of resources, like, it just feels like it's just actual card advantage, right? So the mono blue dreadnought trades always 1-for-1, while this one you drop a mage and it just feels like you're just trading so much more, because it changes the entire dynamic of the game, and it only changes the dynamic, but also limits your opponent's outs in a very significant way. And every time that you are blanking a card in your opponent's deck, that is making the rest of your counter magic that much better. So yeah, this was like another... I mean, every single match, right? Like against Madness, like every single match has been a great display of the power of Meddling Mage and why I am such a big fan of this and of this specific list. And I could not recommend it enough. I could not recommend it enough. I think it's really, really good, and I firmly believe that it's the best deck in Pre-Modern, even though it's not played as much as it should be, considering how good it is. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you would like to support the content, you can do so in a variety of different ways. You can do so by just using the link on TCG Player and Mana Traders that you will see in the description of the video down below. And as you go about your business with them, you will be supporting the stream for no extra cost to you at all, which is nice. You can also find a 10% discount on your first 2 months with Mana Traders with the coupon code. And you can also support the stream directly with Patreon. You can also support it with direct donations through PayPal, which I very, very much appreciate. And finally, you can also book coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your game to the next level. That's it from me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.